basically you just call me a man with a plan. Kind of what I've been for a long time, you know. And the reason that it brought me here was I had traveled around the world and saw a lot of the things in the world that needed to be, you know, things that they're finally coming to realize, that we need to think green more. And so I've been developing this place as an example of how to live with nature without destroying it. This area here that we're walking into is a part of the garden that I developed. Since I didn't have a lot of funds to do other stuff, I started working on the garden. And I've been practicing forms of permaculture for some time, which is really starting to pay off. This is my simple home down here where I live when the weather's too inclement, because basically I live outside. And this is my living room. This is where I live and people come to visit. As I look around, everything I see has a story. So it's kind of the land of 10,000 stories, you know. And some of them are good stories, and some of them are interesting stories, and some of them are sad stories, but everything has a story. Every rock, every plant, everything that I put in, there's a story that go with it. But I'm not going to bore you with all the stories. That's for another time, in another space. But this is the teepee in which I live, and it was a cloth teepee for 10 years. And no electricity, no lights, no TV, no radio, no nothing. And it became kind of a time chamber. But eventually the sun ate up the canvas cover and we had to do something more permanent, so it got cemented. And it makes a toasty little nest in which to sit when the weather's bad or inclement. But my house here, I don't know if you want to see in there or not, but yeah, I've had up to 15 people in here. As it gets a little crowded, but everybody has a good time and everybody enjoys the atmosphere and the feel of the place. I've spent thousands of hours of meditation sitting here and have hundreds of pictures just in this one room, and each picture is like amazing, but it's just a moment when the light is just right and catches something, you know, that makes the magic picture. My vision for this place is that this garden would be a meditation garden, and that there would be no other structures than what is already here, that basically there would just be space. You can see for hundreds of miles in every direction, and you can't see a telephone pole, you can't see a road, you can't see another house, and it sets the mind free. It lets you think that there is a universe that's in order. This is some of the ponds that I've created. I've actually built 8 ponds, and for the present I've dried up 4 of them because I just can't maintain everything by myself. You know, it takes a lot of work to keep ponds going. This one's way overgrown, but it's beautiful and it has beautiful flowers, and there's thousands of creatures that live here in the pond, and it becomes an amazing responsibility when you're caring for a piece of land, especially one as large as this. This is the trail up here to the swimming hole and the sauna. And these trees here, you can see just behind you, right here where the dog is, that gnarled old branch. And for a tree to get to that age, it takes at least 1,200 to 2,000 years in the speed that things grow out here in the desert. So people move out here and they have no idea the treasure that they're sitting on, and they bring a bulldozer in, push all those trees out of the way because they want to plant a willow and and put up a chain link fence, So I've been trying to make or help them to be conscious and aware of what they're doing. When I'm cleaning something or pruning it or polishing it is like something that I'm physically doing to the world at the same time. So the smaller becomes the greater, and then you start to see the world change in ways, that somehow relate to what you were putting out. But I have a year-round spring right here that's been the result of doing permaculture up above, soaking in the water that falls on the rocks into the rock formation, and now it works its way down, comes out as a spring. Now these two ponds here are a result of the spring, and you can see it dribbling in here at about, I would estimate it probably about 3 gallons a minute or so right here. And what it does is this soaks through all this area down here for about 300-400 feet and keeps it moist underneath. And so as I plant fruit trees and different things in this area, they get their roots down into there, and then they're sustained without anybody having to water them or care for them. And the only thing you have to do is you got to pull weeds because the weeds are 10 feet tall. It's kind of like my secret garden, So it's always a surprise to people to come back here and in the middle of the desert see all these green things growing and fruits and ponds of water. And then we have this lovely summer shade spot right here where you can put your hammock, your yoga mat, and be in the cool of the tree by the bubbling water. But I also have an area up here another 100 feet higher than this where I put in 2 large lakes just in the last few weeks that I've developing a planting area around each one of those lakes that will be able to produce fruit and shade and nice things for everybody to enjoy. I see that permaculture is one of the big solutions for the planet because we can do this easily with all of our waste compost and stuff in each mountain range coming out of the mountains into the cities and cleanse and purify the water and refurbish the forests at an amazing speed. All it just takes is the focus and the plan to put it together, and these mountain ranges could become fertile forests and on both sides of the mountain, on the desert side and on the, there's a frog right almost underneath your foot, so careful.
Sini jadu miskoni, deja yo hiki